Most of us assume that reaching orgasm is like crossing the finish line to sex. You might even wonder if sex is worth it without having at least one orgasm. However, the reason many women lose interest in sex is because of the orgasm as the goal. She comes first, pressure to perform. Her body is not a machine and is not able to automatically produce orgasms on command. It might seem counterintuitive, but if you want to experience more orgasms, then you need to take the focus off of having orgasm and redirect your focus to sensual pleasure. Unfortunately, we live in a results-driven society where it's necessary to make checklists like drive your kids to practice or make dinner just to get through our day. And then add to this that North Americans believe that if anything is worth doing, it needs to have a goal attached. So when you have sex, what is the purpose of sex? What is the goal? So your goal during sex should be to, number one, feel connected. Number two, have fun. And number three, experience pleasure. So sex is able to give us all the wonderful things that we crave, which stem from emotional intimacy. And emotional intimacy is the glue that holds a couple together through thick and thin. And while it's true, all these good things, all this emotional intimacy can be wrapped up efficiently and effectively by achieving one orgasm, somehow, somewhere, this idea that sex is a means to an end rather than something that we simply enjoy became the ideal. To be clear, having an orgasm is how men want to experience sex, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when women don't bring in what she wants into the couple experience, that becomes the problem. Why? Women tend to do what their partner wants, and then the sex becomes lopsided, and then women become resentful. She starts to view sex as performance, a chore or test that is highly anxiety-inducing. When her partner doesn't notice her dissatisfaction, she becomes resentful that her sexual experience was about making sure he was sexually satisfied. This resentment soon turns into apathy, and there is no greater libido killer than being apathetic about sex. And when we throw in the pressure to achieve orgasm for both partners, it's no wonder sex can feel like a chore. The combination of resentment, anxiety, guilt, and shame is an extremely effective blocker, robbing partners of their emotional intimacy. And you don't want this. And unfortunately, this is where many women find their sex life. Wedged in an orgasm as the focus, she comes first, apathetic sex rut. And you might be confused because women do love to orgasm and want to orgasm during sex. It's not the orgasm, it's the expectations. It boils down to most women not wanting and eventually resenting the pressure to perform and orgasm first on command with every sexual encounter. The majority of women in long-term relationships experience a delayed sexual response and are unable to orgasm during the she comes first time frame. So sex for women becomes, she's got one shot to fit her pleasure in, yet her ability to get in the mood and orgasm is generally inconsistent. And then there's the other confusing matter when a woman does orgasm with every sexual experience, yet still feels sexually dissatisfied. You see, a woman's body can orgasm without her feeling sexual desire or arousal. It's an automatic response to stimulation, like a sneeze, but with no emotional attachment. This pressure, performance, and stigma to reach orgasm severely limits a couple's understanding of emotional intimacy. And ultimately, the expectation and pressure to orgasm with every sexual encounter can decrease a woman's ability to have an orgasm. So if sensuality is so important for women, why can't she just ask for it? Well, in a nutshell, women have been told her entire life that she cannot feel pleasure, and also that she's the gatekeeper to sex. So she has to make sure that she does not get pregnant, that she does not get an STI, that she is not labeled a whore. And this is why it's so important for us to take the focus off of having an orgasm and put it onto our sensuality. And for women to learn how to lean into her pleasure, because that's where her sexual satisfaction lives. And I promise you, when a woman is happy and secure in her own sensuality, her partner is going to get an engaged and interested sex partner. If you want to find out how a woman can tap into her pleasure spectrum, make sure to check out my other videos on this YouTube channel. Is good sex on your mind but not in your bedroom? Go to trinareid.com and get your free copy of the Sex Bootcamp Masterclass. Listen and subscribe to the weekly Sensational Sex podcast and check out my award-winning self-help fiction, The Sex Course, that went to #1 in its Amazon category 3 days after launch. Both the Sex Course and Sex Bootcamp are award winners and available as audiobooks.